Hello, hello, hello. This is Will from Let It Make Sense podcast,
And this is Nikita.
and we are here with another one. We are going to be doing this show about a topic that I find interesting. I like to do topics that are interesting to me. Um, and there's been a lot of interesting thoughts and theories about this thing called toxic masculinity. And I find it kind of weird. Uh, I find it kind of interesting too, but uh, I don't know. But before we get started, we're gonna actually talk about one of the faces of toxic masculinity and what he's facing today.
Okay. So before we get started, of course, thank you so much for joining. We hope that you all are having a happy new year because it's still January 2023. So we hope that you all are having an awesome new year. Also, as always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll know when we have new videos coming up. So, what we're going to be talking about, or the person that we're going to be talking about in regards to toxic masculinity and whatever else, is Andrew Tate. So, um, the point of time where we are, Andrew Tate, his brother Tristan, along with two others, were arrested on December 30th and charged with sex trafficking and rape. So Tate and his brother are being detained for 30 days while investigators are continuing to work to build their case. So I looked it up before we got on, and there are no updates that I saw for their case. It's still in the same status that it was in, that they're still in jail for 30 days. So the facts of the case, as we know them, are this, and this is according to CNN.com. Romania's Directorate for Investigating Organized Crime and Terrorism, DICOT, said the four suspects had been detained for an initial 24 hours. A Bucharest court accepted an application by DICOT to hold Tate and his brother Tristan in custody for a further 30 days. And this is according to their lawyer, Eugene Vidanak. Um, let's see. DICOT alleged that the four suspects formed an organized criminal group that stretched from Romania to Britain and the United States for the purpose of committing the crime of human trafficking. The authorities alleged that two of the suspects misled the victims into believing that they intended to enter into a marriage cohabitation relationship while transporting victims to Romania and later sexually exploiting them with physical violence and coercion. Authorities also said one of the suspects raped a victim on two separate occasions in March 2022. At least six victims were allegedly sexually exploited by the organized criminal group, the DICOT statement said. Andrew Tate, a former professional kickboxer, is known for his viral rants online about male dominance, female submission, and wealth. He
So I didn't know he played soccer, football, or
no. It says he was a professional kickboxer.
kickbox. Okay, he was a kickboxer.
He was a professional kickboxer, and he was on Big Brother. Now I don't know if it was Big Brother here in the U.S. or Big Brother overseas, but another
Okay,
article I
so
read
that's
said he
why
was
he
on Big
got so
Brother
much
too.
notoriety. Okay,
Um,
so he can fight. So
he
don't
openly
touch him.
he openly advocates violence against women and had previously been banned from every major social media platform until Elon Musk reinstated his Twitter account after taking over the company. He rose in prominence earlier this year, with many adults, including school teachers, voicing alarm about his misogynistic ideas taking root in the minds of countless young boys. Before it was taken down, his TikTok account racked up about 11.6 billion views.
Wow.
Okay. So I had my laptop with me, but somebody told me I couldn't have it on the table because I pulled up an article from the Guardian, and I was going to read some little excerpts from it, but basically it was just saying something about his TikTok account
Damn
and
balls.
what Yeah, I don't have the link, and I'm gonna try to find it again. So yeah. Anyway, so um, oh, what was this? Oh, what he was doing on his TikTok account, talking about choking women, slapping them with a machete or something. I don't know,
I don't know. That don't
and
sound too
not
bad
slapping,
sometimes. No,
not
I'm kidding.
slapping with a machete, but choking women, beating them, and all this stuff. Just some crazy, crazy stuff. So now he's done all this online and said this is what he's doing to the women that he's with, and now him is in jail,
He went in jail for
being
sex.
investigated for human trafficking,
Yeah,
and rape, 2 counts of rape.
2 counts of rape. So hold on. So I looked at Google and I looked up this word toxic masculinity. It says,
Oh, wait a minute. So our first question that we want to discuss, trying to make sense of, I guess you say,
okay,
is this what toxic is this what toxic masculinity gets you in regards to Andrew Tate? So he's like the poster child for
toxic
toxic
masculinity.
masculinity. So,
Him and then your boy who passed away,
oh, Kevin Samuels.
Kevin Samuels.
So now that he's the poster child for it. He said all these things, done all these things, or whatever, said this is said, he said what he said, and he said he has done these things to women, right? Oh, one of the things he said was that he dates 18 to 19-year-olds because they are he can imprint on them. That's what he said. The article said
This
that
is
too from the
not.
Guardian.
What's the name of that movie?
Twilight. One
Yes.
of the Twilights.
What
New
is
Moon, I think
the
this is the
last one?
one.
Yeah.
It was the last one, part
You
one of the
imprinted on
last
my
one. I don't
daughter.
know.
What are we doing here?
So yeah, so is this what toxic masculinity gets you? That's the first question we want to make sense of. Okay, now go ahead and do your definition.
Okay, so basically, it's a culture concept of manliness that glorifies stoicism, strength, validity, and dominance, and that is social, manipulative, and harmful for mental health. Men and women both suffer when toxic masculinity perpetuates expectations that are restrictive and traumatizing. Okay, yeah, I think this is an extreme. Okay, so the question I have is, is that what it gets you? Basically, is that when you're going to end up being so-called what's considered toxic masculinity? The issue that I have, there's no. If you look up the word toxic masculinity, that's just one definition. There are multiple definitions of what people consider to be toxic masculinity, and I'm trying to figure out the thing that I want to know is what exactly is it? Is there a clear cut definition for toxic masculinity? Or is it just something that people say and do? And see people, if somebody does something that you don't like, or that you feel is what's the word that I hear a lot nowadays, deals with the male patriarchy, then they're being toxic.
I mean, well, what you're saying has nothing to do with him because I think this
Well,
is
he's
an
the
extreme.
extreme. Yeah, he's the extreme of what male
So
toxic
I
is.
anything other than that um is just really up to what a person feels is, I guess you could say, toxic. I mean, because women can be toxic too, but
But
um
we've asked our own kids, and I mentioned the fact that they have the word female toxicity, was it, toxic femininity is a real thing. But because it's not as old as a term of toxic masculinity, our daughter felt like it wasn't real.
I mean, here's the thing. Just this is me personally. I'm not talking about anybody else, and nor am I giving anybody else what my thoughts are. But to me, all of this is newfangled. It's some stuff somebody said around and said, "Hey, let's say X, Y, and Z." The thing about it is that that's how men have been for however long. They've been misogynistic. There are some men who are misogynistic. Yes, there are some men who feel the same way that Andrew Tate does. But now we've got this term that no matter how old it is, now it's just like in popular culture to say that a man is toxic if he does X, Y, and Z. Some of it I don't necessarily, I wouldn't say that it's toxic. Yes, it may be misogynistic, but it may not be toxic. But what this man has been on social media saying, what he's been on folks YouTube or on people's
TikTok
podcasts,
and Twitter
you know,
and
because now, and the reason why he's on other people's social media is because he can't, you know, be on his own because they took
yeah,
it away from him. So other people are inviting him on, and he's still able to spew this extreme uh ignorance. And I can't even say it's beyond toxic, right? Obviously, because now he's in jail
yeah, yeah, yeah.
for 30 days while they do an investigation. So my question is, did you take all of this crazy rhetoric, which I don't even know if he believed? I've watched some of his stuff, and looking at him, I'm like, is he believing the words that are coming out of his own mouth, or he just saying because he thinks it's funny? Is, you know, because the thing about it is that you have to be responsible of your words and your actions, no matter who you are, what you do.
True.
And so if you're saying this stuff because you think that it's funny, but there are men,
Who are doing it
yeah, that are doing it
and
because you're
acting
saying it.
on what you're saying because
Right.
they're taking your word by
Now
law.
here you are, you're showing your cars and your money and you're rich and all this stuff, but you don't have this because you've done some work. It sounds like you were a prostitute.
But okay, so
I am not sorry. But it sounds like you made your money off of literally
women's
the
back,
backs
women.
of some women that you know how who who in their right mind would want to aspire to be that person?
But okay, so on the flip side of that coin, what's her name? Pale. She has a YouTube channel and a TikTok as also. But you would think she is champion.
I don't think you said her name right.
Is it Pale? Pale? Huh? What's her name? Huh?
The rat. You know about the rat?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I think it's Pearl.
Pearl. It's something with a P. Look, I have to find a name and put it. Look, this is the issue with it. See, my daughter calls her a pick me,
She needs help.
but she's literally the type of female that uh uh uh
Yeah, just pearly things.
yeah, she's the type of female that
And she just put
Adam.
up a video. Andrew Tate and Pearl debate modern women 9 days ago.
And see, she like really follows him and follows his saying, women, are used and women need to submit and women, it's just crazy stuff that I'm like, I wouldn't go that far. Here's the thing for me. I'm what you call a moderate in the sense of I think that you have to have some sense of balance in the household. I don't feel like a man controls everything at all times, nor do I feel like a woman controls everything at all times. I do believe in that in the household you gotta have some kind of leadership and guidance type of situation, and I do believe there are times that a man should stand down and let his wife lead. That just as there are times she should let him lead. And I feel that way because it's just I'm a little old fashioned. I think there's some obligations that men have, there's obligations that women have. But the stuff that these cats are talking about, total different thought process for me. I'm not one who would say, "Oh, well, that's the case, then I need to be, we're gonna be this whole masculine, I'm trying to be toxic. I'm not trying to be toxic. I just think that without structure, your household won't survive."
I mean, everybody has a part to play, but you abusing your part, you choking
Yeah, we ain't
your
doing that.
girlfriend or your wife, are you telling her she can't leave the house? Because that was one of the things that he said,
Yeah.
that a woman shouldn't leave the house. She should just be there when he's there, or something.
What
He
what
needs help.
surprises me is
Um,
it doesn't surprise me that Andrew Tate is like that. I'll be
oh,
honest with
he
you.
talks about hitting and choking women. This is from the Guardian. Talks about hitting and choking women, trashing their belongings, and stopping them from going out. It's bang out the machete, boom in her face, and grip her by the neck. Shut up, B, but he said the word. He says in one video, acting out how he'd attack a woman if she accused him of cheating. In another, he describes throwing a woman's things out of the window. And this article is from August of 2022. In a third, he calls an ex girlfriend who accused him of hitting her, an allegation he denies, a dumb hoe. Tate's views have been described as extreme misogyny, What did I say? By domestic abuse charities capable of radicalizing men and boys to commit harm offline. Because here's the
But could
thing.
he? Can he
Yes,
radicalize a man? A man,
yes, yes.
not a man, not a
No, little
male.
boys too, because they're
Yeah,
men who
maybe
don't have their own thought
thought process.
process,
Yes.
and of course, little boys, 'cause they're still forming it. Because they think he's cool, right? That's why I
Okay.
said, does he believe the stuff that's coming out of his mouth? Because see, here's the thing, um, and that actually goes to our next question: did his toxic masculinity rants get him uh caught up?
I think so.
And I think that it did. So the answer for me, for number one, is this what toxic masculinity gets you? Yes. And number two, did his toxic masculinity rants get him caught? Yes. Because here's the thing: even if he didn't do it, they found something in correlation with the stuff that happened, what he's doing online, and whatever caused them to be able to get the warrant they needed to make the arrest. It all worked in tandem against him.
Well, here's the thing.
So
It's been happening in hip hop for years. You do a song, and then
right,
all of a sudden they
right.
locking you up
Like
based off the lyrics of your
right,
song.
like in California, they passed the law. Governor Newsom, they
Yeah,
passed the law that now
they
they
can't
won't do
use
that. They
yeah
can't use their rap lyrics
against it
against them, which
because
they
who was
shouldn't
that?
have
The
been able to
Booyah
anyway.
tribe. The Booyah tribe. They whole little clique got locked up for a minute
You know,
behind some stuff they said. It
right.
happened, but it is what it is.
Some of the folks probably really do use real life stuff, and
Yeah,
some of them, they're rapping. They just doing that because they want to get sales. They
but
don't
look
mean that
at your
they
boy
actually did it. Or
Bobby Smurda. I think it was.
it may have happened, but they may not have done it.
I think it's the guy Bobby
Oh
Smurda.
yeah,
Yeah, he
he
got
got
locked
locked
up
up for some
for
for
lyrics.
some lyrics. So now here he is with this toxic masculinity stuff. Now and
And
look at what you saying you did. So that's what
so I could since you said it, and it now it leans towards okay. Well, he so much as admitted to doing it, then we ain't got to worry about building the case. He built it for us.
in July there were more. This is like July last year. The article says in July there were more Google searches for his name, Andrew Tate, than for Donald Trump or Kim Kardashian. Because he
That's
styled
bad.
himself as a self-help guru, offering his mostly male fans a recipe for making money, pulling girls, and escaping the matrix. Tate has gone in a matter of months from near obscurity to one of the most talked about people in the world. And what does that say about our society, right? That a man who is bashing women and spewing vile
Ignorance.
ignorance. I mean, just idiosyncrasies and things that anecdotes, is able to get to a level like this. How,
But we won't support things that are productive,
but they
positive.
overturned Roe versus Wade. I just
Yeah,
don't
I don't
understand.
get that.
I mean,
I don't get that. I think that
you know, you got documentaries about Black Lives Matter. I don't know what they did with the money. All I know is that these two women
built something
built something that was not just a national movement here in the US, but a worldwide movement
for change,
for change,
positive
productive,
change.
positive change.
Yeah,
Even if you don't agree with
with
their defund the police or whatever, but it got a conversation started,
yeah,
right? Like here in Nashville, something happened, and now they're looking at having the resources to go out with police officers when there are individuals that may be having a mental episode
yeah.
when the police show up. Now you may be thinking, what does it have to do with anything? But the Black Lives Matter movement is one of the things, nuances that cause that to even be a thought process for our city or my city, because I'm from here, he just live here. But
West Side,
to
LA.
even think to do that. So the point that I'm trying to make is this: how is it that this man has been able to do, like the video that they got up 9 days ago with the Jess Pearly and him, has 2.9 million views, and she's just as toxic as he is. Now, I will say some of the stuff she says,
It's
because
valid.
it's valid, because some of those women are just like, Lord bless your heart. But the 99% of it is just like, bless her heart, because
But
she's just as bad as the men are, and she is kind of sort of like a, well, this ain't about her. But anyway,
well,
so
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I think that the reason why is because as a society we're lost. As a people we're lost. People are trying to find themselves and trying to reinvent themselves and trying to figure out what is right and what's wrong. What are we supposed to be doing? And to some people, to some men, that seems logical to take control of their houses, to take control because they feel like, and there's some men out here who really feel like testosterone has gone down and we are not as masculine as we used to be, and things of that nature. So they feel like anything
But
that's pushing that narrative.
then that goes back to the question that people are saying in other realms: what is masculinity and what's femininity? If you allow, as a woman or man, if you allow someone else to tell you you're not a man because, or you're made to feel like you can't be a man, that's more of a you problem than a them problem. That's just me. That's how I
True
feel
that,
about it.
true that. But the
Because you're not going to tell me that I'm not, or make me no, no, you're not gonna, you can't do that. That
but what do you do? But to somebody who's a
and then
teenager or somebody who's just getting into their early 20s, think about it. People go to college in their late teens, early 20s. You're in school.
there's nothing wrong. Here's the thing: there's nothing wrong with you being emotionally aware. We were watching this one podcast, and I didn't. The guy was a little, but I agreed with what he was saying. There's some video, or it was a PSA that's been put together, and it's like totally far fetched, but I get it. So it starts out, it's a baby. The mama's holding him, and he's crying as a baby, and the dad, I can't think of what happened. She's comforting him, okay, because he's crying. Then he gets
Oh,
older and he falls or something, and he's crying,
and the
and
dad
the dad
says,
says
yeah.
stop crying or whatever. So then something else happens, and they're like, and the mom ends up being the same way as the dad, saying stop crying. So then he sees the dad beat on the mama, and then he goes to school and he beats up a little boy viciously. Okay, don't know if the little boy was bullying him or not,
It doesn't
but
say.
it doesn't say. But he just beats the little boy up. Okay, so then they go to the school. The principal calls him. The dad goes to school. He's like, I don't see what the problem is. So okay.
Well, okay,
Oh, wait a minute. Like I can
okay.
start. Okay. So then he gets old. He's a teenager. He likes a girl. And I can't think if the girl said something to him to the effect, I don't like you or whatever.
But she laughs at
Or
him or
she laughs
something.
at him or something. So then they end up going to a party. The girl is there. And long story short, he's raping the girl. Or
Yeah,
they allude to the fact that
he
he
raped the girl.
rapes the girl.
Yeah.
So the guy was like, you got to be kidding me that you started, because you told him he couldn't cry, that he
So
ended up
she's
raping
raping somebody.
somebody.
Yeah,
So the point of what they're trying to make is that there are some people in our society who stifle male children's
yeah, but that's an
emotions
extreme.
by telling them, suck it up, don't cry. Right? Okay.
Okay, for all the
So
ladies, please leave it in the comment. How many of y'all finna date a crybaby? Let's just be honest. A man that cry about everything
so I think that that particular PSA, wherever it lives, is
is
it's
extreme.
very extreme. However, whether it's a boy or a girl, you have, as a parent, it's draining raising children, because you have to figure out a good balance, right, of how to do it properly, because you don't want, it's not the point of the child but being a crybaby, or the male child
Well,
being a crybaby. What you don't want for your girl or your son, right, your son or your daughter, you don't want them to basically cry at every little thing, everything you don't have to cry about,
but see, this was
or be
a
able to control.
PSA strictly on toxic masculinity.
It was.
Yeah,
But you want your child to be able to control their emotions. But you don't want to tell your son not to express his emotions, even if the emotion is a cry. Because then when you raise this hard shelled person, and then something happens to you, which I saw this one time, it was funny. It was a little cartoon or meme thing. The woman did that to her son, right? And then when she was emotional, going through something, basically he was like, "What you crying for? What's wrong? What you want me to do about it?" So you
you mad
don't,
at bacon?
right, you don't you banging on bacon. So you don't want to raise someone who is emotionally detached or not available.
Yeah,
You don't want that.
I agree to that. But do
That
you
you know,
want a
so you
man
have
who
you have to
cries all the
you
time?
have to figure out how to do that balance, right? So if a man, yeah, but that if a man does not have that, that does not necessarily mean
He's toxic.
he's toxic. That just may mean that he didn't get
That
something
nurturing.
that nurturing that he needed when he was a child, and that's unfortunate and it's sad.
And
So you have to, as their person, you know, whoever you're in their life, you have to deal with that. But also as that man, you need to step back from yourself and recognize that and deal
okay,
with it
okay.
and
But
stop saying it's the other people. No,
it's you.
sometimes if 10 people tell you the same thing,
It's
depending
you.
on who them 10 people are, it might be you. And you might need to step back from yourself and say, okay, let me observe.
Let me
Let
figure this out. Did I
me
do
figure this
something?
out because
Something right.
it's me. It might be me.
It might just be me.
Yeah, it might just
But
be
I think
me.
that ultimately that the reality is this. I don't know. Do I think there are toxic men that out there? Yes. Do I believe that in the thing of toxic masculinity no more than I believe in female toxic femininity? I think ultimately they kind of go hand in hand. Both sides have the toxicness about them. You know, both sides, and ultimately it's just us trying to figure it out. There's no rule book on being human.
I mean, when you figure stuff out, you figure up. We are
Yeah,
devolving and figuring down.
yeah. Well,
It's not even a lateral move of figuring out. I mean, it's
well,
like like whoever the person is that
making
created
the
the word
rules
toxic masculinity, and then whoever the person is that in this generation found the word
and
and is
decide to
applying
start
it to
using.
everything, like they need a whooping. Like seriously, whoever the woman is that convinced other women that they needed to be.
No, it ain't just women though. That's the great part. You got men calling other men toxic
No, no,
masculine.
no. I'm talking about women. You know that you don't want to you don't want the man to cry. You don't
Oh
want
yeah,
to well, whatever it is, everybody need a whooping. Somebody, whoever it is
I
that
think
thought this
everybody needs
stuff
some
was
mutual
cool,
respect.
it's not. We need to go back to the drawing board a little bit, because the thing about it is that there are women out there who don't want to be quote unquote submissive because they don't understand what that means.
Well, I got a question for you.
Hmm.
Do you think that women create toxic masculinity or have a hand in creating toxic masculinity?
If they single mothers and women who don't pull their husband to the side in the bedroom after he say what he say to the kids, say, hey,
I
you
didn't
know
have
that
that luxury. I got yanked to the side, I pulled to the carpet on many a day.
we not. That's not what we gonna do. That's not how we raising peanut. You
Look,
know, you know,
I
a
tell my
junior or
son,
whatever.
I
That's
tell my son something, my boys something, and my wife. I tell my boys, I'm a girl something. My wife pull it to the side. Hey, look at you.
that's not how we doing it.
But hold on. Here's the thing, though. For all you fellas, you got something to say. She did it the right way, and she did it respectfully. She took me to the
Did you hear
side.
what I said?
She
I
didn't do it in
said
front of
pulled you
them.
in the bedroom
Yeah.
after he did. Oh, you pulled you to the bedroom. Hey, let's not. We're not gonna do that, okay? That's not how. No, that's not, no. Let's have a discussion. Let's talk about it. Let's figure this out. Let's do a 30-40. And that's just 70%, right? So
So
let's figure this out, because
the
that
other
that
30% just gonna go out the window.
let's go out the window, because you because at the end of the day, after your kids get grown out of your house, you do like this. Whew, thank God that worked out.
Yeah, yeah, because you hoping and
Some
praying.
days some days it's a little perilous,
It's kind of
you know.
questionable.
But
Well, okay, so tell me, what do you think
yes.
about the females who we had this conversation on New Year's Day? My family got together and we were talking about women accepting things from men they have no intention on being with.
Now, okay, so that's well, I'm gonna say it's totally different, but see, that may be what happened to him, right? This Andrew Tate, he got his feelings hurt real bad, and sometimes when men and women, when they get their feelings hurt really bad,
It go real bad,
they just go like far, 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 far off the
real
tracks,
bad.
right? And they end up like this. And me personally, unless you clearly have stated, sir, I am not interested in you romantically, sexually, or otherwise. We could be friends. Now, if you insist on buying me gifts, drinks, food, give me money, pay my rent, pay my bills, pay my condo,
Payment
all that,
telephone bill.
whatever it is, just note, excuse me, that I have no intention of being with you.
I,
I think that should be stated up front if you have no intention of being with the person. Don't take what the problem comes in
you still flirt.
when you are flirting with the person to get the things, knowing in the back of your mind, I ain't gonna be this ugly nigga, whatever it
Yep.
is that you're
Yep.
saying, I'm not gonna be with him, I'm not gonna be with whatever it is. You need to be honest about it, be upfront about it, because then when they want that thing or they expect it, then when
I
they
expect
cuss you out,
I want to cash in my
yeah,
chips.
when they cuss you out, get mad, want all this stuff back, want the money back. Because I've seen that on these little court
Yeah.
things on TV. The guy gave the girl money for stuff, and he thought it was bleeding or something, and it wasn't, and he wanted his money back. And the judge was like, "Well, you did you tell her that it was a loan?" And she was like, "No, he gave it." So you can't be upset that you set yourself up for failure, the man, right? But then on the same note, as a woman, you need to set up expectations, and then you can't get upset when he want all his stuff back.
Because here's the thing: at the
So
end of
no,
the
don't be
day,
taking money from somebody that you don't plan on being with unless you set up expectations and they
but
understand it.
see, here's the thing. That's the thing. I've never seen the woman set up expectations. I see them, he and hi and
And then if
smiling in
you're
the
a man
face.
and you dizzy as I love Lafayette.
Land, please.
Lafayette
Oh yeah,
on
rest in
True
peace.
Blood episode.
You're a dizzy mother.
If you decide to be dizzy and think, wow, even though she said that, I'll keep doing it, and eventually, no, sir, she told you, eventually it's not. Eventually, it's not gonna work out. I mean,
I think,
eventually,
but
she
see,
gonna
here's the
go.
thing:
She gonna end up getting. You gonna see her on Instagram in her wedding dress with her husband,
with some other
and
dude,
you probably paid for the wedding. So I mean,
and you ready to go beat somebody up or shoot somebody, do something stupid, and but now you toxic. But and I think that ultimately we have to be. Here's my thing, fellas. I'm gonna tell you like this: it's not wrong. If you want to do something for somebody, do it out the goodness of your heart. Do it from a good place without an expectation. Now, if you feel like okay, now this is becoming something that's it shouldn't be, say, hey, look here, sweetie, and I'm gonna tell you, hey, look here, baby girl, we're not gonna do this. You're gonna keep asking me for something. What am I getting in return? Oh, nothing. Cool. So this is what it requires for me to do this because now it's even swindling. I like to always say, fair exchange.
even swap, no
Even
swindle.
swapping, no swindle. You know what I'm saying? It's even swap. Call it a day. If you're not gonna give me nothing, then I'm not gonna give you nothing, and we can keep it at that. Otherwise, I feel like, and I have daughters, and I tell them, don't take nothing from no man. You don't want to be with. Do not take anything from a man you don't want to be with, because if you get upset,
That is setting up unwarranted, undesired expectations because they gonna want something in return. That's
so
just it's just like
you created a toxic.
the same thing for women,
masculinity.
sir. If you know you just need somewhere warm to stay
Say it.
for the winter, say that. Don't sleep in a bed. Say, you know what, the couch or the floor is just fine for me. I don't want nothing from you. You don't have
Matter of fact, I'm gonna give
boo
you a
boo
little
boo.
change, a little
Here's a
pocket
little
change for the
pocket
rent.
change. But see, no, you don't want to do that because you want her to buy you some beer, some herb.
As my mother-in-law would like to say, you want a May light.
You want May like, knowing that you don't want to be with the woman,
Yep.
knowing that but then you borrowing her car and going to see
Sally
Shaniqua
Moon
and them,
and the
and the
projects.
projects, riding around her car all day long till she get off from work. So we as men and women, you people as men and women, because I'm not in that no more. But
Nope. I don't
I
even go out
never
my
was
house if
just
I can
saying that.
avoid it.
But I'm not in that. But stop.
Yeah.
Just stop and be honest about your intentions. Stop thinking that you got to be underhanded. You don't. Stop thinking, do I think that toxic masculinity is real? Not the way that it's being
Presented.
presented.
No.
No. I do think that there are men who can be extremely misogynistic. So let's give a definition of that real quick before we
And
wrap
this is a
up.
lesson we're gonna learn. It goes to the third point. This is a lesson. A lesson from this whole situation.
So a person who dislikes, despises, or is strongly prejudiced against women. That's what a misogynist is. And if you go back and you look at the Andrew Tate and the Kevin Samuels of the world, that's what they are. I don't care what they say. I don't care how they tell it to you, but they dislike,
Eh,
despise, or they're strongly prejudiced against women for whatever reason. But the reason is that something happened to them.
yep.
Somebody broke their heart. At the end of the
Right.
day, that's what happened. Somebody broke their heart.
And stop using words on people that you don't know the definition of. You haven't time I had somebody. I do not prejudice against women. I don't have dislike for women. I've been called misogynist before. I've been called toxic masculinity before. I've been called a chauvinist. I don't know about that part, but but here's the thing. What's annoying is people use words and terms they don't really understand what they mean. If I'm something, then I'll take that.
A male chauvinist is a man who believes that men are superior to women in terms of ability, intelligence, etc.
No, I'm not even that. I'll be
So,
honest with you. I think, and if anybody know me, I try to tell my wife, hey, you can be the front, I chill right here in the back. Whatever, I'll be your servant. What you need?
so a man definitely could be misogynist and a male chauvinist, yes, and that Tate man, I don't know about his brother, but I don't know because he didn't. But
He ain't out there in the
but he
front.
ain't out in the front, so I don't know about him. But the Tate man, yeah,
Yeah, he's both.
and so was Kevin. May you rest in peace, Kevin
Now,
Samuels.
and I think I get it why my mom used to call me a male chauvinist. I'll be honest, my mom used to call me a male chauvinist, but primarily because my dad's thought process is, you know, I'm a man. You do what I say do, and the whole little gambit. That's just I don't have that thought process. I think my wife is far more intelligent than I am. I think my daughters are probably far more intelligent than me. My sons can all, both me and my sons combined. I think that they have the potential to do great things. Whether they do it or not is a different situation. But I do believe that they have the potential and the ability and the ideals to do it if they just do it. You know what I mean? So no, I'm not a male chauvinist. I'm not a misogynist. I'm not toxic masculinity. I think that ultimately, um, we need to get an understanding of what all these things are before we start addressing our young men and these in this fashion and creating the monsters that we say we don't want. Because if you tell a person you are toxic masculinity, the example of toxic masculinity, or you're a misogynist, or you are a male chauvinist long enough, they start to take on and embody the ideal of what those things are. And then it becomes a situation where you don't look at your part. I think that ultimately, I do feel ultimately those three things are brought on or taught by women. And I'll say why I say that because I believe that the woman is the first teacher of a young man. I think that, and I say that in a sense because if his father is showing this or displaying this, she has the ability to code that thought process because 9 out of 10, she's going to be with him 90% of the time. You know what I mean? So, that being the case, guide him and teach him the way you want. And if you are a single mother, stop trying to raise him for something that you don't want. Don't stop telling these young men to not support these women that they're with. They can lay up with them, but they don't want to buy them a Coke and a smile.
Stop raising your
You know,
sons to be a man you wouldn't be with.
exactly. Give them. Stop. Then you want to send them out to the woods for somebody
And
else
stop
to
raising your
raise.
daughters to be a woman that you if you're a man and you're in your daughter's life, stop raising your daughter to be a woman that you wouldn't be. But you got all these women out here, you got line up 10 of them, and only one of them know how to cook
Yeah.
a decent meal.
And some of them just don't want to learn how to cook. We have one of those.
I mean, what she thinks she
Oh my God. Y'all, I have to say it. I love her to death.
and
That's my
that's not my
baby.
fault. I don't know what happened when
What happened?
I was
We
teaching
went
the
over there the other
people.
day.
Everybody got their own. Everybody got their own lesson.
My sons can barbecue. They can cook. We went over to my daughter's house that time and tasted her food. And she said, "Well, my husband like it." Yeah, good. He lied, but
I
okay.
mean, he gonna eat it.
But
He
the
gonna eat
interesting
it.
thing about my grandson don't eat nothing. But
It
he
was so fun. Wait, okay. And then we're gonna end with this question. It was so funny. I tasted it. I put my finger on the sauce she had. I did like this. I said, my grandson said, oh, he said, oh,
Oh,
whew.
because he knew, Lord, that was,
And then he laughed. He
yes,
thought it was so funny. He did a good hearty laugh.
because he knew
He knew that it was black. Okay, we're
hey,
gonna stop because she gonna watch this
she gonna watch this and she
and
gonna
she gonna
cut
be
us.
upset.
Well, we love
Um,
you, baby.
we love you very much. I'm gonna get you together, get you 3 meals together. I'm gonna teach you how to cook them. Okay, is there
The
a
proper way.
the proper way? So the last question
I'm gonna
is
teach your
there
husband how to barbecue.
a lesson? Probably teach the baby too. Is there a lesson to be learned from Andrew Tate and his brothers? You know,
Yes, I say the lesson in to learn,
situation.
in my opinion, as a male, this is not what you want to do. This ain't who you want to be. You want to be someone who the, the, the one thing that's looked down upon today is what's called a traditional family: the husband, the wife, the family, the kids, and be it. And I say traditional because that is what traditionally we see. I'm not degrading anybody else's thought process. I'm not knocking anybody else's opinions. But what we don't see the husband and the wife in the traditional standpoint raising their families, raising their kids too often. It's more often than not that you see a person who's a single in a single household versus a two household family. We need to get back to that.
Two parent or
Well, yeah, two
mhm,
parent household,
mhm.
and we need
No,
to
because
get
these people are raising plants and dogs.
yeah, you know what I'm saying, and just let them watch, let the TV raise them. Yeah, yeah, it was that too. And let, these are my fur babies. Do your thing, but I think that we need to
I'm not saying anything. Let me say it. I'm just
no,
saying. I'm
yeah,
just
but we need to go back to respecting our spouses, defending our spouses, taking care of our
but
spouses,
before you get to a spouse, can we just start with
take care of
respecting each
yourself.
other?
Yeah, that
First of
too.
all, how about this?
Respect and take care of yourself.
Let's go to this, right? The good book. Love
Well,
your neighbor as you love yourself. When people like this, and that's what can we just seriously can we sit in there for just a minute?
yeah,
Real
yeah.
quick, we sit in that. If you look at these people on YouTube, TikTok, wherever they are, right? Because they just Pearly got banned from TikTok,
Over
uh,
and over again.
because she was being reported for being toxic, right? Talking about overweight women because she
Yes.
had lost this weight, and then she started saying that fat people were ugly or whatever it was she was
Which I
saying,
don't know what you're talking about.
degrading. So what I'm saying is this: can we love ourselves? If you love yourself, it's going to be reflected in what you say about other people. So if Andrew Tate really loved himself, I don't think he would say something about choking a woman out or hitting her with a machete or whatever. I don't know what that meant. I don't know
Yeah,
what
I
that
don't
meant.
either.
I don't think you would be throwing the woman's stuff out. I don't think you would be doing these things, right? Because you love yourself. And would you choke yourself? Like it was a Full Metal Jacket
Yeah.
when
Oh yeah. Choke
the
yourself.
major what are they
He was
called? Sergeant
the
major or
drill
drill
instructor.
sergeant,
Drill instructor. No, they call it DI. Drill instructor.
drill instructor told the guy to choke
We gonna
himself.
have the Marines ready to beat us
Are
up.
you gonna choke yourself? Are you gonna hit yourself with a machete? Are you gonna throw your stuff out the window and then go tell yourself to go pick it up? Are you gonna are you gonna do that to yourself? If you wouldn't do that to yourself, then why on earth would you do it to somebody else? If you lost the weight and you feel better about yourself, are you gonna then turn around and tell yourself you're fat and you're ugly? Because is that why you lost the weight? Because you were self deprecating to yourself? That's sad.
That's bad.
That's really bad. But if you wouldn't tell yourself that, then why would you tell someone else that? Now, if your plight is to say, now that I've lost the weight, I feel so much better. If you want to,
Get here.
any tips or tricks or what you could do to lose weight, this is where I was, and da da da. It may not be, you may not get the same results, but here's what I did. If you want to do that, that's fine. But telling somebody that they're ugly or they're not beautiful or they're unhealthy, because there are some people who are quote unquote overweight who are healthier than some stick skinny people. Because just because you're skinny does not mean that you're healthy. But at any rate,
Hold on, I'm gonna put a pin. If you happen to watch the game Monday,
20, bless
20,
his heart,
20 something, and we pray,
bless his
Lord, please let
heart.
him be okay. But this young brother hit somebody, and I found the video where he hit him. He
Um,
hit him, stood up. He didn't even go a step. He just stood up and fell right back down.
bless his heart.
And he is an athlete, top athlete. He's in the
I think it's
NFL,
the way that the guy's helmet hit his
but
chest.
he had a heart attack.
No, it was cardiac
Cardiac arrest.
arrest.
What, ain't that the same thing? What's the
No, it's
difference?
not. I read an article. It's not the same thing.
Okay, it's
Uh,
close.
but his heart
His
stopped.
heart
They
stopped.
had to give him CPR, and he's in ICU now. He's
Yeah.
in critical condition, but he's in the ICU.
So just because you work out every day does not mean you are top notch health either.
No, it is not. So
Holly Berry, she's a full fledged diabetic.
yeah, right. She is a diabetic. So that doesn't mean anything, right? So at the end of the day, love yourself and love others, because if you love yourself, it's going to be reflected in how you treat other people. So if you wouldn't treat somebody else a certain way, if you wouldn't take money from yourself, you I'm not giving nothing back. What is that's a movie? Did you know outright? What did she say? It's baby boy. She
Oh,
said, I gave what she was telling Yvette.
if you, yeah, she told her. What did
If
she
he
say?
not giving you no
If he ain't give you
outright,
no act right,
no act right.
you,
Yeah.
you can't love yourself.
Yeah.
You ain't got enough to love you.
You.
It ain't.
Then what is it I got? So you have to be able to love yourself in order to be able to reflect it on other people. People like, and I'm not beating up on him. You put your own stuff out there,
Yeah,
your
that's
own,
on you.
so it's on Front Street. So people like Andrew Tate and these other people that are like him, there's a self thing going on there, and they could say, oh no, I love me, I love you, to love yourself. No, you need to love you, because if you loved you, you would not be saying and doing the things that you're saying and doing. I promise you, you wouldn't. So let us do that. Let us start here with self, so
Mm-hmm.
that we can then be better people. So when we go out, we won't be taking money from men who we have no intentions for. We won't be treating women a certain like they're commodities or like they're a thing,
Yeah.
right? And then as women, we won't go out there looking like we're just that. So that men can treat us that way and then go home and cry because you don't have a man or because that's how you get treated. Well, that's how you went out. But at any rate, that's another story for another time.
That's another show.
So yeah, there is a lesson to be learned. And I think that's the one, that you need to love yourself so that it can be reflected in how you treat other people, because you don't want, it's not cute, and you doing that, you're not him. So if there are any young men or guys out there and you happen to come across this, you're not him,
So don't try
and
it.
don't try it. Do not try this at home, because it may not go well for you.
First of all, some of these women, especially if you're looking like us, some of the women through playing with y'all. They gonna show you better than they can tell you, because they get in the bag themselves. They don't need your bag.
And they have the rose.
Yeah, and you come up missing.
It's 2023, and they came out with a new version of the rose.
They playing with them toys, boy. They don't need you. They got the bag and the rose, and they love themselves.
A lot.
A lot. Get to know themselves. And I tell you, hey, what we have to do, fellas, is start taking care of business. Be a man, whatever that means to you. My, one of my favorite lines in the movie uh, uh, is my father taught me a lot, you know, and it came from biker boys. Because sometimes you have to look at a man, just because whether he's your father or not, can teach you a lot. Whether it's good or bad, you just have to figure out, take what you want to take out of it. You know, what he Andrew Tate said, be healthy, be about your business. Nothing wrong with that. You take that. But what he said, to denigrate women and disrespect the women, and and don't be, you don't need to be there for her for the babies. You need to let the woman deal with the baby. Hold on. Because sometimes your kid needs their father to talk to. Sometimes your kids need their father to protect
Okay, when you get old
them. You know,
and you sitting out with poop on yourself,
and wonder why they don't want to be bothered with you.
you would know why.
There it is.
Remember what you did.
So,
Okay, what you got? That's your final word.
that's my final word.
Okay, so we hope that you, as always, have enjoyed today's discussion. And we want to let it make sense. Be sure to leave us any comments or questions down in the comment section below. Be sure that you are respectful because we can be disagree or we can disagree without being disrespectful. Okay,
Right.
so remember that. Also, again, be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when we have new episodes coming up. As always, be blessed, be in peace, and when you're out and about and you see something that is just crazy, let it make sense.
Peace.